Oh, there's never a dull day at the stable. Bubbly. All right, bubbly it is. Non-alcoholic, by the way. Yeah, never a dull moment. So today's Saturday. I get up this morning at just after 5. Let's say, I don't know, 5:30. So early, I don't even think the clock worked. I got up. I know I was at Starbucks before Starbucks opened. However, that's 6 a.m. I assume. By the time I got up and got going, I had to wait for Starbucks to open because I brought my wife back a drink in the morning. I went to the barn. We had to get an early start because we were qualifying 7 horses today at Georgian Downs. Let's see if I can remember them all. Give me a second. Emerald Miss, Excellent Nation. Sometimes Things Happen. Spend That Money is 4. Muscle Chrome, 5. Compass Rose DC, 6. And Susie K, 7. So 7 horses qualified today. 7 horses went to qualify today. Now, a little strange turn of events. So obviously we were in a big hurry. We wanted to get the horses in Ohio qualified. At the time of entry, we didn't exactly know when Jason was going to try and get into Ohio. When could the truck take them? When would the stalls be ready? When could Jason try and get across the border? I keep saying this because we still don't know. We're trying to find out. I know a lot of people have said Jason can't go across the border. Other people have said he can because we have horses going to Ohio. We have work in the United States of America. Therefore, we can get across the border. Has this been tried? Not exactly. I know essential workers from Canada can go to the U.S. I did read up on that. But anyway, don't bother emailing me. It's not a big deal. We'll get to the bottom of it. So we had the horses going to Ohio. We had them in to go in Georgian. I'm thinking to myself, qualifying Georgian, 2 minutes-ish, maybe 59, depending on how the track is. First day of the year. They haven't been on it in a long time. I don't know what kind of shape the track will be in. It looked like it rained last night in Georgian. So when we got there, the track was actually really good. Got off the track with the last horse. It's about 9:40. 20 minutes before the first one goes on the track. They're all warmed up. I go to use the bathroom. I come out. It is pouring rain. Normally, being a driver, I would simply bite my tongue, maybe curse a little bit, go out to my car, get my mud gear, put it on, go qualify. But I didn't have my car. I went down with the truck. I looked at the forecast. There's no rain in the forecast. Why would I need a mud suit? I'm in Georgian Downs in the pouring rain. It's cold too. 15 degrees after being twice that all week. It was cold. 15 degrees at 10 o'clock in the morning in the pouring rain, qualifying horses. I was not a happy camper. James was the only solace I had was that James was equally as sour and soaked and cold as I was. So I was angry that I was wet, but somehow evilly happy that James was wet also. So it kind of canceled out, and I just bit my tongue and went through it. So as the day started off, we knew Excellent Nation. I see a bunch of people dumping shares Excellent Nation. Guys, and I do whatever you want, but Excellent Nation's a decent horse. Excellent Nation was sore after we were training him down at a little bit sore in his hind ankles. That's been his MO since day one. He's been like that forever. And we've only been in 15, maybe 212, way back in the last drone set, mostly 15 or 20 with him. It's been 2 months. I mean, you can't ask that much from the horse. I just took him to the back around the last turn. Horse got rough in front of me. I just wheeled him out, and he ended up 6th. Pace 59 last half, 58 last quarter, and 29. A great mile for Excellent Nation. Most importantly, it was perfect after the race. Probably ready for a good mile next week, and we may race these horses now that we have next weekend. Jason's not leaving till a week from Monday. We can race them next weekend. So this will become important in a couple of minutes. Excellent Nation ended up decent mile. Emerald Miss come out next, running in a little bit, probably needs a little vet work done, running in on the end of the mile. 4th, pace 57-4, and like I said, the track's off a second, easy. 57-4, beat 3/4 of a length. Good mile for this filly. Another filly that obviously everybody's horses were tight. over the last 3 days. You could see that. They're qualifying in 52, 53. I think one went in 51 in a piece. Their horses were tight. And when you train at a 5/8 or 7/8, yeah, there are perks. And one of the perks are you can train them hard and you can get some real speed into them. We didn't at the training center. Yeah, we went fast the other day, but that was the first time in 2 months we'd gone fast. As I said, track was a little bit short. That was pretty obvious. When you train Miss Brampton Beast in 56 and a piece at Tamiko and go out and go in 55 and 2 at Mohawk, track's a little short. So, so I was happy though. Miss Brampton Emerald Miss, good mile at her. Now, I guess I'll mention the other two since I did a video about them. Beach Bum BB needs to be on a bigger track, needs to be consistently going a little bit better. She's one of those horses that packs on muscle slowly, and her attitude doesn't help. She's had that, oh, well, whatever attitude her whole life, and it plays a role in her overall training, and it will in her racing career. So Beach Bum BB's a horse that needs to get somewhere and go 4 or 5 real good miles and slowly get better and back up to where she was and hopefully a little bit faster. And a horse like Miss Brampton Beast just needs more than 1 mile and then throw her in where they go in 53. She's just not going to do that. 55 and 2, if you'd have told me going over to Mohawk, Miss Brampton Beast to go a mile in 55 this morning, I'd be tickled. I'd be happy as hell. Finishing 7th behind Gold Horses going in 53 to go in 55, not so cool. So, is what it is. Those two qualified. So back to Georgian. Emerald Miss qualified well. Oh, and I forgot the biggest one because I didn't go with her. Need Your Opinion was absolutely fantastic. I rarely do this, but once in a while I'll make light of it. For those of you out there gambling, I don't know how well you watch the qualifiers. I'm not going to lead anybody in any direction. You may want to go back and watch the qualifier of Need Your Opinion a couple of times as she's entered in to go next Friday night at Mohawk. You may want to have a close look at her qualifier. Needless to say, I thought he was climbing over them, got her out late, and she was sprinting at the wire. This is, forgive me, I could be wrong, but I believe probably our best 3-year-old pacing filly. Really fast filly, always been fast. The allergies really played havoc with her last year, and now that she's a little more matured and been healthy all year, hopefully they don't play as much of a role with her. So those were the three from, I'm jumping around a bit, those were the three from Friday. Back to Saturday, Emerald Miss, happy with her, 4th beat, 3/4 of a length, good qualifier for her. Then we come out in the next one. Now, Jason had told me before the qualifiers, we didn't know if the judges were going to give time for the track. We assumed they would, but you can never assume. Needed to go in 2-1 to qualify. Now, they're going to go in 55 at Scioto Downs. So 2-1, if you can't trot in 2 minutes right now, you're in the wrong division. So we didn't know, right? Because we've been in 2.7, 2.8, 2.10, 2.6, 2.12, but not 2 minutes, not 59 with spend that money. So really wanted to get a good look at her today. Another horse in there. Sometimes things happen. I've spoke very highly of. Now, again, for those that are gambling, you'll see how mistakes are made with chart lines. I told you in an earlier video, I got away on the front. I get over the half and 1-1 in a piece. I'm thinking, there's no problem with James going in 2 minutes off a half and 1-1 following me. We get up to 3/4 and 1:30 in a bit. James moved to spend that money off my back halfway around the last turn. He won the qualifier by 5-6 lengths. They got me charted beat a neck. That's a long neck. That's 3 or 4 giraffes' necks. That's a long neck. There was no neck. He beat me with the earplugs in, bow in her neck, 2 minutes and a fifth, last half 58, last quarter 29. Spend that money looked very, very good. Very impressed with the way that filly looked. So she was very good. The line is better, but nevertheless, sometimes things happen when a good mile also. And, it's hard because when you have horses ready to go 2 months ago and then you're continually training them, you think they're tight, right? You could think to yourself, no, they should be okay. But they're not. It's not racing speed. And Jason and I were talking about this after the qualifier. He said, it's hard to gauge because Spend That Money's actually a pretty good filly. I said, Jason, 2 months ago, this horse qualified in 2 minutes, 2-1. He said, yeah, but he's been training every week since. That means nothing. 0. Every horse is different. And this horse is a big lanky colt that is going to need to put a lot of racing muscle on. I think sometimes things happen. It's going to be even a better, much better 4-year-old than 3-year-old. And I think he's going to be a solid Buckeye horse for us at 3. He's got a lot of pop off the gate. He can do, you can tell when you're sitting behind him, he's doing what he can do. There's no cheating. There's no sourness. He's going what he can go. And 2 months ago, 2 minutes, fast forward 8 weeks of training intermittently, once a week, by the way. And yet a horse that was tired in 2 minutes. And he probably trotted, realistically, his chart line's incorrect. He trotted in 2-1-1, last half 59 a bit, last quarter in 31 on a track that was not fast. So a good mile from him also. I was really, really happy with him. A little bit overshadowed by a filly we believe is a Sire Stakes filly. So no shame in that. I was very, very happy with both of those horses in there. So that was 4 out of the way. Then we come out with the last set. We had 3 in the same race. And I'm telling you what, we were worried because there was no drivers there. There was no, hey, get this guy or that guy. It'll be, do you have a license? Do you have a license? There's no one there with a license. Thank God Steve Byron didn't happen to have a qualifying drive in there and was there, and he was happy to go with Muscle Chrome. I went with Susie K, and probably between Spend That Money and Compass Rose, the biggest ticket for us of the day was Compass Rose DC. Spend That Money already went in 2 minutes. The horses that Compass Rose was in with are not 2-minute trotters. Susie K certainly isn't over a day like that after 8 weeks. So Compass Rose was going to have to do her own work, which may have been a chore in itself. But nevertheless, no, I shouldn't say that. I put her on the front in Northfield last year for a filly that doesn't generally race that good on the front end. I shouldn't say that. She won her first start, didn't she, on the front end? She's not used to her training on the front, put it that way. Coming out of the gate, I couldn't tell what happened. James said she just looked at something and jumped over. He thought she jumped over something on the track. He said, I was on the move at the half. I should have just moved her out 3 wide and let her sail. He said, but I'm thinking to myself, after she breaks, I'm going to have to take her to Grand River on Wednesday and get her qualified. Right back Saturday, back Wednesday to qualify. And I mean, that's smart. Smart of James to think of that. Don't empty her out on Saturday. She has to go back on Wednesday. Take your time. So James is coming, and 2 guys come out in front of her. Compass Rose ran in a little bit. James hooked the wheel and made a break. 2 breaks. So first break, jumped over second. Second break, interfered with. Regardless of what happened, it was interference. So we come off the track. I'm pissed off. Now, Susie K won a good mile. Half in 1:03, a mile in 2:3. Pretty much the same type of mile she won at Flamborough Downs, but at Georgian Downs on an off track. Muscle Chrome was coming from the back at the wire. Both fillies did what they could and looked good. I'm still angry about the Compass Rose thing. Now I'm thinking to myself, what the hell are we going to do now? We got to go to Grand River. Is there going to be a problem getting in at Grand River to qualify? Is there going to be preference like there is at Mohawk? That's why we were in at Georgian Downs. They gave preference to Ontario breds and 3-year-olds that needed to qualify at Mohawk. That's why all our Ohio horses were in at Georgian. So I'm getting changed, and I'm mad, but I'm not really mad at James. Those things happen. It's not like Compass Rose is what you would call a breaker. She's made breaks in her career before. She's a trotter, but she's pretty solid most of the time. So, I mean, I don't want to be angry at James, so I'm angry. So I'm getting changed. I'm washing my face. So James and Jason are coming out. I said, I guess you're going to have to go to Grand River now, boys, on Wednesday. And James goes, it's funny. She said the judges just called and said because of the COVID-19 rules and the way they changed, she was qualified in March. She doesn't have to qualify now. I have no idea that amendment, that portion of the breaking rule. I know I read it, but it's all new, right? So, and most of it wouldn't apply to us, so I never really read it that close, but apparently she can race. So, her break on Saturday morning, mile and 2.7 after a couple of breaks in the mud, decent little mile, is going to end up turning into a race Friday night at Mohawk. We are going to race her at Mohawk. That is 3 days before Jason leaves. Now, your obvious question is, what happens if she makes a break? That's a problem. I'm not going to lie to you. But as I said, Compass Rose DC doesn't usually make breaks. So we'll warm her up good, make sure she's on her toes, and make sure she behaves. James will take care of her. Hopefully go a mile in 57, 58, which would be a pretty good tune-up for the Sire Stakes. Now, is that the same as Kiki Mora's 54 mile in Scioto or Virgil Morgan's fillies mile in 55? No, not at all. We are a step behind going into the Sire Stakes. But nevertheless, it's a long year, and everything that's gone on. In a perfect world, we would have been able to school. They would have raced in the Buckeyes, so it's neither here nor there. But even for the world we live in now, today's qualifier would have turned into a mile and 56 training next week. It would have been tight, I think. Would they have been 2 races in sub 156, 155 ready to rock tight? No, they wouldn't be. But Ohio got to start before us. So, that's just the world we live in. So, and then obviously this weekend, what went on with Globetrotting. Now, maybe a lot of you may not have noticed. You may live under a rock, in a cave, don't have Wi-Fi. What happened with Globetrotting was she was in to qualify Monday. We're always, we trained her in 59 at the farm. She's ready to go. I'm thinking, and she was in with some heavyweights on Monday. I'm thinking 56, 57, easy, minimum, maybe 55 on Monday in a qualifier. I'm thinking, yeah, she's probably ready to try 56 right now off that mile at the training center, knowing how she is coming in. So let's see how she behaves. I come in Friday. Is it Friday? Thursday. After qualifiers. First qualifiers at Mohawk. I come back, trying to get everything situated for Friday, make sure all the horses trained well, getting the baby set up in sets. Jason calls me and he says, the filly has a big lag. I know which filly he means, but I'm thinking, which filly? Globetrotting. So I go down to the barn. She got filling in her right front leg. She gets on the right line. The filling is in an extremely suspect spot. I've seen it many, many times in the same spot. I said, take her to the vet. So I'm depressed. And it takes a lot to get me down. I'm depressed. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. I drive home. I said to my wife, just give me a little bit. I went upstairs, closed the door, and just sat down. Laid down. I hear the phone ring. The vet appointment was, now it's like 2:45. The vet appointment was for 4. I hear the phone ring. I don't even want to answer it. I'm certain it's an injury. I don't even want to answer the phone. No, I don't answer it. I let it ring through. Dr. McKee. 2 minutes later, phone rings again. I pick it up thinking, I'm just going to hear horrible news, right? Any injury to any soft tissue in any part of that leg is it for 2020. It's over. No racing. Pick up the phone. Hi, Anthony. It's Melissa. I said, hi, how are you? Good. So, the filly, I ultrasounded and x-rayed the whole leg. Nothing out of order. Excuse me? There's nothing out of order. She says infection in her leg. Now, when we were tinkering with her shoes about, this is 10 days ago now, maybe more, she did make a break in the first turn going her first trip and cut the back of her ankle. And this happens with horses. You'll hear this horse grabbed a shoe or got a quarter crack or cut her foot or cut her leg or Miss Meringue had stitches, adrenaline rush. I mean, these things happen. Just had a little cut on her leg. Enough that we bandaged it up, but never thought anything of it after that. She ended up with infection, cellulitis in her leg. So we treated it aggressively. Even within 1 day it came down. Because this was Thursday. I had trained her on Tuesday. She jogged on Wednesday, jogged perfect. They put her away on Wednesday. She jogged perfect. They took her out of the stall Thursday morning, and her leg was big. So within hours, it was caught immediately. So I suspect that had a lot to do with it starting to come down immediately. So she's been in the stall the last 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll jog her tomorrow if her leg looks like it looks like it's going to. It's come down pretty good. I don't know what brought it on. It was very, very odd, and probably the most terrifying thing that I've had happen to me this year for sure. We've had horses, the thing with Miss Meringue and lots of stuff that went on. Even the small injury to Yes and Yonkers. These were hard to take, but not like this. This really grabbed a hold of me when I saw her leg. Anyway, so Globetrotting, it looks like she'll be fine. She's obviously not going to qualify on Monday. We're hoping to get her in to qualify on Friday. Another filly that is not going to be racing tight when she gets to Ohio. Kiki Mora's going to have 2 starts into her. Virgil's filly is going to have at least 1 start into her. Any other horses coming off the shelf will have a start or 2 into them. Our horses are going to be a step behind. And I'm not going to be there to drive them. So we're going to put somebody on the horses, maybe Chris Page. My brother Mark said he'd go, but I don't know about that. Regardless of who drives them, they have to know going in that the horses maybe are a step behind, and also that they're not going to get to drive them their next start. That's a tough position to be in for a driver. I've been in that position. Fill in. You want to get paid with your 5%, but at the same time, you know the horse maybe isn't at 100% ready to rock. It's a tough spot to be in. It's a tough spot to put somebody in. So we're going to do the best we can. So spend that money. Great Mile this morning. She's going to race next weekend. Globetrotting will likely qualify, hopefully next Friday. And then, of course, we're looking to get Compass Rose DC raced on Friday. That's the plan. She doesn't race on Friday, we'll take her back to Georgian. And before you say, oh no, she made a break at Georgian, she made a break. It has nothing to do with Georgian, whether she thought she saw something or not. This is all part of growth, and I'm sure she won't make that mistake twice. So that's where we're at with the horses right now. I'm just looking to see if I missed anything. Obviously, there was a couple of qualifiers on Thursday. They went well. Arctic Forest was fantastic. He needs a race this coming weekend also, or a week. Do we put him at Mohawk? This is going to be my job tonight. Let me just run through how many horses we have to enter for Friday at Grand River, Friday at Mohawk, Saturday at Mohawk, Saturday, or I believe maybe even Sunday at Georgian. So 5 race dates, 4, maybe 5 race dates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 41 horses to enter in 4 race cards, 5 race cards. Do the math. That's 8 horses a card if they all get in. They won't all get in. Some will get in together. We're going to have to move some of them around. Maybe Hanover's racing can accommodate some of them. We have a lot of horses to race right now, and then we have, obviously, the babies coming up. I asked Steve Palermo. Sometimes we're very fortunate to have people that help out a lot, and I told you about this story about Steve the other day, but Steve saved me twice. Once, agreed with me in Barbie's Crown and allowed me to do my job easily, and secondly, I went to sleep the other day and had a nap on Monday, right? Long day, getting geared up for the qualifying week. I get home at 1:30, 1:45. I was a little tired. I've been getting up a lot earlier this week. I don't know why. I was a little tired, so I lay down 1:45. I get up at 3:30, 3:45, and there's 6 messages from Steve Palermo. Virtually, where are you? What are you doing? You got to enter the horse at 3 o'clock. Don't worry, I put you down. I put spots in. If it wasn't for Steve Palermo, we might have not had very many qualifying spots. So for those of you who don't, of course you don't understand. Monday at 3 o'clock, and again this Monday at 3 o'clock, you have to enter online. Never had to before, but you have to now. You have to enter online for spots. There's 50 spots per 2 hours or something in the morning, 150 spots a day, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and then it's only going to Wednesdays, I believe, or Saturdays. One or the other. Wednesdays it must be, in the coming weeks. I slept through it. So if it wasn't for Steve entering the horses, I might not have had very many spots to train on Wednesday. So I thank him for that. So I called him yesterday and I said, hey, do you want to be the guy that enters the horses on Mondays? Yeah. I said, it's smack dab in the middle of nap time. So if you could enter them. So Steve set his alarm for 2:55 on Monday. You can enter online at 3 o'clock. We literally have upwards of 50 horses to train, 50 babies to train. If we could get the 10 a.m. slot on the whole slot on Wednesday, that would be fantastic. I know James wants to take his horse. Jason has 2, and we have upwards of 47 exactly horses. Now, there's some horses that may not need to go that we can maybe, depending on the speed. I mean, a horse like, what's her name? Well, any one of them, Jesse Balboa or any of those horses that are cut the line back a little bit. They're not ready to train in 2 minutes. They're ready to train 2:06 maybe at Mohawk, 2:08. If we can put together a set like that, then great. We have 50 horses. but we'll need that whole slot. So I hope it will be sought after, because there's 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 6:30 to whatever, 10:30 to whatever, and then 12 to 2:30. I would like to have that 10 a.m. slot, but that would be where everybody would start. And if we have to have some later, then whatever, we have some later. But it would be good to have the whole time slot at 10 a.m. That's going to be difficult. You can only enter in groups of 10, I believe. So it'd be me, Kevin, Jason, Mario, Harry, if that's possible. So that's what we're trying to do for Wednesday. If we can get these horses into train hard at Mohawk, there won't be need of a drone day. Next Friday, the 3-year-olds will be racing. The 2-year-olds will be 1 week from qualifying and 2 days after a fast mile at Mohawk. I'm looking to train maybe some 2-year-olds around 59 or 2 minutes. There will be some other ones that aren't ready to go there. They'll go 2.2 to 2.3, and there'll be some that'll be a little bit back around the 2.6, 2.7, 2.8 marker. If we can get all 47 of ours in to go, that would be great. So that is what's going on now. Just a ton going. My brain is used to worrying about getting horses to Pennsylvania, getting horses to Ohio, Indiana, and all these places, and those are the parameters I have to work with. Take care of the barn, get up, make sure the horses are sound, make sure, you talk to the trainers, they're entered in to go, decide which racetrack or which jurisdiction you're going to be in this weekend or next weekend, things of that nature. Now it's, what are you going to do with all the horses? I was talking to Amy last night, I'm laying in bed, and I said, what if we take the horses? What if I take the horses down closer to Columbus? Jason has the horses up at Northfield. It's 2.5 hours from Columbus to Indiana. If my calendar is open and I can take care of the horses under Jason to race in Indiana, is that a possibility? Maybe. He comes down to Columbus anyway for half the staking. He'll be down there for some racing, and when I have to go up and race at Northfield, it's 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes to the Meadows. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes to Hoosier Park. And this is mostly highway driving. It's not a big deal. So that's a possibility. I never thought about that till last night. How are our Pennsylvania breds going? Our 2-year-olds, as far as I can see right now, to cross the border and race in Pennsylvania, we only have 6. 4, I would say, are confirmed, will likely enter the state of Pennsylvania for sure. Maybe 5. You got Braemar, right? He's been training great. I think he's probably ready to go a mile in 2:1, 2 minutes. Then you get the 3 fillies, Philly Fringes, One My Heart Hanover, and Aglaire AM, those 3. You also have the Donato Hanover Colt. It's escaping me. The Donato Hanover Colt, he's close. And obviously a little bit behind the Fat Cobra's probably not leaving Canada. I don't think there's any need to bring him into Pennsylvania. So the potential is to take 5 horses at most. And then after that, Argento is his name. Ugh. And then after that, there's not much there, just the 3-year-olds, right? My biggest headache next is, what do we do with Knockdown Dragout? If she qualifies as well as I hope on Monday, who gets her? What do we do? Do we race her in Canada for now? Do we find a trainer for her? And as I said to one of our clients that owns Knockdown Dragout, this isn't a situation where I can make a decision, send the horse, the trainer doesn't get along with her, and then bring her back and fix her. Once that wrinkle's in for the summer, it's a problem. So I don't know yet. It's a very, very tricky problem to have. So we have some 3-year-old Pennsylvania breds, some other horses I never thought about sending that may go. Beach Boutique, if she starts to come forward as well as she looks like she's going to, do we send her to race in some of the stakes down there? There's just so many things going on and rattling around in my head. There's only so much room. I know there's a lot of air in there, but there's only so much room for stuff to rattle around in, and it becomes a little overwhelming, and it becomes a little taxing, and it tires me out a lot quicker than I thought it would. So I'm dealing with it. This is the stuff. I look like Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind, just writing on a wall. For no particular reason, hearing voices and whatnot. So it's just different, right? It's different. It's going to be a different year for all of us. Regardless if you're a horse trainer or whatever you do out there, your life is turned upside down. Your life has changed. And it's just the new normal, right? As they say now, the new normal. So until there's a vaccine and or a cure, or both, combination of both, where we're all comfortable to go back to normal, it's face masks for us at the racetrack and Just a weird world. So that's where we're at now with the opening. Just a ton of stuff going on with the qualifiers. Really excited to go with Knockdown Dragon. A horse that I'm really, really excited to go with Monday, Canadian Titan. This filly trained like a beast on Wednesday, maybe. Now, she's only been in 2-2. That was 3 weeks ago. She's been tightened up real good. I would suspect 57, no problem from her on Monday, I think. And 57's not going to cut it. She's in with some tough ones, too. But I'm excited to see what she's going to do because she's looked really, really good the last little while. Really excited about that. And then, of course, we got our 41 horses to enter into race in various places over the next week. So a lot will be going on at the stable. A lot's about to take place. And it's going to get really crazy really quick. So for those of you out there exactly wondering what's going on, that's what's happening. We qualified all the horses. We hope to get them all qualified. Now, maybe I wasn't clear enough about Compass Rose DC and how she's going to race. I think I was, but just so we're clear, she is still eligible to race in Ontario in a pari-mutuel event. Even though she made a break this morning in a qualifier, she will race. She'll be entered to race next Friday at Mohawk. If that falls through and for whatever reason they have preference to Ontario horses and she doesn't get in, we'll try to get her in at Georgian Downs. If no track takes her because they all have preference right now, then we'll requalify her next Saturday morning at Georgian Downs. So one way or another, a good mile will be put into Compass Rose DC. That's the good news. I'm sure she'll stay trotting. That's great news. The bad news is we are 1 to 2 races behind the Kiki Moras and the stake horses in Ohio. Can't make that up without actually putting in the work. So we're flying in to a hornet's nest. And that's a frustrating thought, but at the same time, it is what it is. So now, what else is new? Not much. 2-year-olds, we have 47 of them slated, plus the 3 of them of Jason and James's. 50 horses in total, hopefully getting some training miles in this coming Wednesday. I will trust Steve Palermo's quick fingers to get us slotted in to that position. For those of you out there saying, have you made up your mind on New York yet? No, I have not. I know there's 3-year-old stakes coming up June 14th. I have zero interest in sending any horses to New York State unless they are sire stakes material. You have the sire stakes, then you have the Excelsior A, the Excelsior B. The Excelsior A goes for about $15,000 American. A horse like Bottle of Red, Arctic Force, Really Blue Chip, any of them race for more money right here at Mohawk when you factor in staking fees, bills, shipping, all the things, all the nice, wonderful things that go along with sending our horses out to affiliate trainers. Regardless of how affordable they are, they're still added costs. And if they're not going to be sire stakes material, which they may not be. You look at Blake McIntosh's colt, Groovy Joe, 53, wrapped up with the brakes on, looked like a killer. Arctic Force, 55, 27 on the end of it. I'd say he's 2 races behind even be able to race with Groovy Joe. 2 different horses. Groovy Joe was one of the top horses in New York. Arctic Force made $8,000 last year. So before we start comparing horses, we have to know what's waiting for us in New York also. The Groovy Joes of the world are already ready to go and already waiting for us. May not be the best place to put Arctic Force. And then you say, well, try the Excelsior. Have zero interest in trying the Excelsior. At 15 American, to pay a starting fee, to ship down there, to have somebody train the horse, ship the horse down there, pay that starting fee, and then race the horse against those horses, which is no cakewalk either. It's the same as racing in the non-winners of 2 here for 17 or 18 Canadian, 10 minutes from our farm. Makes no sense. Mathematically, feasibly, it is a sucker's bet. So we're going to see how the New York horses qualify and how they look. Our aged horses are coming along. I did a video for you guys the other day. Yes is back in Canada at the barn. He arrived Saturday afternoon. He will, I believe, begin jogging back. I haven't got a vet report on my email yet, but I assume he is ready to start jogging back. Cruising in Style continues to train. White Tiger began training today. I'm missing a horse. Oh So Pine has been training. Cavill Hanover has been training. And Stonebridge Simba qualified 57-4. A qualifying winner today. Saw the wood the whole way, I think. Those things happen. I know people get frustrated, and it probably wasn't the greatest drive. And as Brett had said after the race, you know, this horse is sitting on some wins. We will get him in probably next week, and then after that, we'll make a decision where he goes. Does he go to Northfield with Jason? Does he go to the Meadows with Tim? Does he go to Illinois? Is there something in Indiana for him, or does he stay right there? We'll make that decision in the coming weeks. So that is the opening video, 35 minutes of it. Spirits are good. Racing is coming. Everybody's happy so far. Can't wait for next Friday. Talk to you guys soon.